Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Noah again. In this video, we are going to look at evaluating functions and solving function equations when the function is defined using a set of points. This is going to be very similar to our last lesson where we looked at evaluating functions and solving function equations given a function defined as a table. In this first example here, and our only example for this video, we have a function f of x completely defined by the following set of points. This is negative 5, 1 is the first point. The second point is negative 1.2, 1. The third point is 2.8, negative 2.8, 5, 0, and then 9, negative 4.5. So this is how the function f, sometimes we'll put that little subscript of the function that the set of points is from down there in the bottom right of the set. Especially if we're using more than one function, we'll use that to be clear about which function the set of points is from. So here, that first point, negative 5, 1, this is saying f of negative 5 equals 1, right? If negative 5 is the input, then 1 is the output. The second one is saying if we have negative 1.2 as the input, then f of negative 1.2 is the number 1. The output of the function f when we input negative 1.2 is 1. And so on and so forth. F of 2.8 equals negative 2.8. F of 5 equals 0, and then f of 9 equals negative 4.5. And these are the only points for this function. This function is not defined anywhere else. So let's look at part A, where we evaluate the function given certain inputs. We're going to start with f of negative 2.8. Negative 2.8. We do see the negative 2.8 somewhere in this function, but it's an output in that third point, 2.8, negative 2.8. We see negative 2.8 as an output, but it's not an input for any of the points. So right away, we get that this is undefined when we try and input negative 2.8. For f of 9, we can see that that's in that fifth point, we get an input of 9 and an output of negative 4.5. And then we look at inputting 4.3, and that doesn't show up anywhere. So again, this is not a possible input for the function f. It's not an input or an output, but for this, we only care about whether or not it's an input. So we just say that this is undefined again. All right, part B, where we're solving equations now. So the first one says f of x equals 1. So we're looking for an output of 1, and we actually see that that happens twice over here. That happens with an input of negative 5, output of 1 occurs twice at an input of negative 5 and negative 1.2. So we'll say the solution set is the set containing negative 5 and the number negative 1.2. The next example says solve f of x equals 2. And looking back through our list of points, none of these points have an output of 2. Not a possible output. So we can say the solution set is empty. It's the empty set because there are no solutions to that equation. All right, one more here. We want to solve the equation f of x equals negative 2.8. And here we just see that output a single time in that third point. The input for that is 2.8. So f of 2.8 equals negative 2.8. So the solution set is the set containing just the number 2.8. That's the only solution to this one. All right, that is everything for this example. You're going to go ahead and do the Now You type problems. Work through those, give them your best shot there. I think you guys got this, and then just watch the next video to double check yourself. And then we'll move on to the next topic after that. Thank you much. I'll see you in the next one.